Welcome back to another version of Mobile Reasoning. Today, we're going to talk to a wonderful queen, and you obviously will see why I call her a wonderful queen. Her name is Lesley Welsh. What is the new name now?
I didn't change it.
You didn't change
It's
it?
the
Okay.
same.
Lesley-Ann
No, I didn't
Welsh.
change it. That's too much work.
All right. Otherwise known as Laava Royal. She is the owner, operator, head cook, and bucket washer of Manifesto Jamaica. We're going to get a lot of information on Manifesto Jamaica because, may I tell you, they're making some serious steps in our community. So, Lesley, how you doing?
I am grateful and happy to see your face.
Yeah, man. Listen, the next time you're in Jamaica, you know, so you owe me a hug. So,
many hugs, 1 year worth of hugs.
Seriously. All right, so you were saying to me that you're in Munich now. Yeah. You had to take the hop, skip, and a jump, which I am glad you did, and I'm sure Ben is happy that you did. So
yeah, we're both glad about it. It was a little too long.
Right. So I'm curious though, Laava, about how you became who you are, right? Because we know you as a philanthropist, we know you as a community leader. We know you as a militant queen, especially for Black knowledge and just upliftment and what is right. So tell me about that journey. How did that start?
Well, first, give thanks, because 9 out of 10 times I'm not really sure how to define, myself and what I do, because it's extremely multifaceted, and it started by pure serendipity, me following what I interpreted as clear indicators from the universe, God, call it what you want to call it, of the next right move. And more time, it never add up in my mind. But in retrospect, now after 11 years of being an independent adult, I am better able to connect the dots. And I think for me, the primary catalyst was trauma, like suffering, like my world did get rocked circa 2010. Nothing I'd come to know, I think I was about 25 at that time. Everything I'd come to take for granted as a normal part of my lived experience, much of it kind of fell apart, like literally half of it. And it was tough. It was a really, really difficult time to navigate. And after that initial slump where you try wonder if what next, and if you have the strength to manage whatever is next, the universe gave me a clear indicator that I needed to get over myself and stop stewing in my own misery and seek an avenue to serve other people. At the time, the fire that was burning in my chest as a 25-year-old, fresh out of university with her big bossy foreign degree, magna cum laude, and like most of my friends, Jamaicans and other Caribbean and African nationals who studied at the same institutions as I did in the States, they were looking for investment banking and consulting jobs in America, and me never found that. So I spent 1 year after graduating, used up my optional practical training time, got some experience in the film and TV industry. Then once that period expired, Uncle Sam said, you either get a sponsored visa or go home. I made the decision to go back to Jamaica, only to be greeted by the fact that there was nothing. Like there was nothing for me there. I had an idea of the industry I wanted to enter. I wanted to work in film and television and was actively looking for opportunities in that field, and big up people like Maxine Walters and Carleen Samuels who kind of opened those doors for me in those early years. That connection with Carleen led me to a stint at the Bob Marley Museum producing their Smile Jamaica Festival in 2010. And one thing kind of led to another while there, and I was kind of really upset by how difficult it was for me to get that in, because if I never know people, if I never have a solid social network that could have literally say, come, I would probably be in some dead-end job that sucking my spirit.
You mentioned your network, and I want to kind of pause there and explain just how, well, I want you to explain just how important having a network is, because a lot of people think, I can do it on my own. I don't need nobody. I don't want a new friend and all these type of things. But what is the reality of that statement?
Relationships are everything. Relationships are everything. Our relationships, at least in my world, somebody else might have a different perspective, but it's the people in my life that have made all the difference at those critical junctures, where the pressure was on, the confusion loud. It's definitely my tribe that has made the difference. The elders, my peers, my students who I've come to know and love through Manifesto Jamaica. My people are everything to me. Everything to me.
So it is needless to say that a network is your net worth, right? Because when you're back against the wall, you don't have nowhere to go. You don't know where you're going. All the only thing you can do is look up and say, okay, that's an option, right?
Yeah.
Are really your people around you where decide say, come, there's this opportunity, come, there's this opportunity, come. Mm-hmm. So it's really important that we understand just how massive a network of love, a network of understanding, and a network of actual help, because a lot of us have networks that now have no help in it.
Mm-hmm. And mutual cooperation, because you see that word network, I feel like, at least in my young adult experience, like networking, it was presented as this vile thing where you run up in a circle of people with means who can do something for you, and your only agenda is to get where you're trying to get. That's not how it works.
Teach them, my friend. Teach them. Elaborate on that.
You start by looking for ways to use your own skill set, your own superpowers, to contribute to something outside of yourself, outside of your own interest, your own need to earn money, your own desire for recognition, or whatever some of those external drivers, which have their place. They have their place. But first and foremost, how can I use the gifts that the Most High give me to fulfill, I like to say, to enable the manifestation of heaven on earth.
I like that.
Yeah, that's a personal mantra of mine.
See, so the thing is that you took that that time of being downtrodden, being lost, being what me I gotta do next? I mean, I say nothing here, and you turn that into you serving others. That then grew into you being in charge of creating this opportunity for others.
Yes.
And you've taken it around the world. I want to talk to you about Manifesto Jamaica. How on earth did you, Queen, who was lost at one time, who never know where to go, how is it that you have become a driver, the captain of such an amazing ship? First of all, tell me about Manifesto Jamaica, and then tell me how.
Okay, yeah. So Manifesto Jamaica was founded in 2010. So this month we're 11 years old. Tambourine.
Wow.
And the mission and mandate is youth empowerment through art and culture, 21st century education and skills training for modern youths. Like the way our education systems are structured now, with due respect for the tremendously invaluable education that I got in Jamaica at the primary and high school level, it not really equip young people for real life. Even me having had the best of it all, like number one right through, in terms of the ranking of the educational institutions I've been enrolled at, still was lacking a lot once I emerged. So that was really the impetus for Manifesto Jamaica, to create a platform for young people established by young people, designed to support young people to learn the skills they need to learn and build the networks and communities they need to be a part of to thrive in the modern world. So that ethos and still is. And how did it come up? Straight Tribe. Can I ask you, you wanted to say something?
No more, know how it came up.
Yeah. How did it evolve? Straight Tribe again. So to summarize the inception story, I was working at the Bob Marley Museum on the project I mentioned earlier, the Smile Jamaica concert and a youth symposium that the Rita Marley Foundation was doing annually at the time. And through that job, I met a brethren by the name of Gavin Hutchinson, Dottie Bookman. And we really, really, really enjoyed working at the museum. So we would volunteer to stay at work even after work done, reason with the elder them, you know, like it was just a real hotbed of knowledge.
I can imagine it's the Bob Marley Museum we're talking about. So yeah.
It was a hotbed of knowledge at that time. And we would volunteer to just end after work and reason and chat, you know, with the people around. And one day we sit down under the mango tree as usual. And we did a scheme. We did because we were feeling the same angst, which is that we're creative, entrepreneurial, disinterested in the standard 9-to-5 model of employment and looking for alternatives. Weren't finding any answer. All right, well, I have to go create it. And scheming, just reasoning like what that can look like, what that can look like. And we did really, really, really want to do something for youths who weren't as privileged as us. And to be quite frank, enough of these people were and are still our friends. So people we socialize with, but them have a completely different lived experience. And in a lot of ways, as talented and brilliant and even more so. But them not have them can't call an auntie or a friend and say, yo, what you ever do? When we can come intern or whatever. So we did want to create a platform that could extend the opportunities that were helping us find our way to people who them birthright never equipped them with those kind of networks and easy access to these experiences. So one day we did a talk about what the work could look like. And we see this brother walk through the gate. The museum closed. Him have one big old bag on him back. And him look like him know exactly where him do. And it just never add up because the museum lock. It's evening time. And the man make a beeline to me and Gavin. And that brother was a man named Chetan Kotari, a Canadian, who 3 years prior had founded an organization called Manifesto in Canada. He made a beeline and just strike up a conversation with me and Gavin. You would have think so. We know this man from Adams. And it was just seamless. You know when Spirit Tech?
Yeah, man.
Spirit Tech under the mango tree that day there. And he's telling us about what he's doing. And we're like, were you just eavesdropping on our conversation? Like, were you behind the wall listening to us? Is a scam? Like, what is this? Where you come from? Why have that big bag? And why are you coming and echoing the exact same reasoning we were just having right here? And the rest, as them say, is history. Me and Gavin did take to the streets, like tell everybody who was in our network who we didn't know have some kind of similar interest, mostly our high school friends, because we actually happened to go to the same high school, but we never realized that till after, because we weren't friends in school. And one by one, just recruited friends, schoolmates who had some interest in creative entrepreneurship, community building, social work. And the universe supported us. And before we knew it, we were 2, that became 4, that became 8, that became 15.
Nice. But the work of Manifesto Jamaica is not about really helping out your friend and company. I mean, because you guys go into the rough parts of our country and pull out the creative thinkers, even in the youths that don't even know that they're creative thinkers. You pull them out You introduce them to a concept, whatever that concept is, and these youths' lives are changed. I mean, because they are changing from inside. So how that come up? I mean, I know Manifesto in Canada, they do their thing.
Yes. It's independent organizations with
right.
function independently. We, the Jamaica team, chose to partner because one, people always like to operate in silos. Like instead of looking for something that you can add momentum to, we prefer start something new. That's not always a bad thing per se, but we never depend on that. So we're like, okay, you 3 years in, I do this. The work is identical. The populations are different. So the methodology are going to have to look different. But here, we are going to say Manifesto Jamaica. Because one, Jamaican people love foreign things. So we know it would help us leverage funding as opposed to just this no-name entity that, you know, we knew being able to show international reach would help us get that first round of funding we need to get off the ground. And you're right, it was not about Friend and Company digging up Friend and Company. It was about Friend and Company agreeing that, all right, we'll have this mutual interest, which is service in support of self, yes, but community building is the primary goal. Because it's naive to say everything you do is charitable or altruistic. No, I made that move because me a suffer, me need relief, and this is the outlet I chose, service, you know. And it just so happened that there were friends and acquaintances thinking and feeling in the same direction. So the methodology, how we work, it emerges organically with every project. I don't think any two initiatives are identical. The secret sauce that remains consistent throughout is integrity. We tell the truth. We're very upfront about why we're here, what we're hoping to achieve in partnership with this individual or community, and what we hope will transpire at the end of experience. So integrity, we keep it real straight through. A lot of love and a lot of hugs.
and a lot of hand slapping too, because I mean, you
True.
keep it real, because there are some youths that, I mean, we're not pretty up the thing, you know. We're not prettying up the thing. We're keeping it real.
Then you have to tough up your face and talk tough.
Yeah, you've had to straighten out some very wrinkled souls throughout your journey. But give me two of your projects that you say, boy, that really pull my heartstring and make my heart all a smile every time I think about it.
Yeah, the first one in the early years was the series of manifestos and our Festival of Article Empowerment. So those were a series of community-based festivals in Parade Gardens, Belvedere, which is Topside, Red Hills, Nannyville, Tivoli Gardens, several other communities, a series of community-based festivals that culminated in this 3-day extravaganza of youth culture and urban art at the Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts. That experience really, really did stretch me to my limit and show me what I was capable of and what collaboration can do. You know, what collaboration can really do when people are of one mind, one intention, and willing to put in the work, even when there is no big money or no ratings to unlock as a result, you know, with no expectation. So that was the first, the manifestos and the festival, which we've been blessed to replicate since. So we consider those like one of our flagship initiatives that we can't wait to restore once kind of Earth rebalance itself, certainly. And then I would say the second was the Run Free project. That emerged out of a partnership we established with the British Council through a project we had done with an organization in the UK, big up Claire, right? And they reached out to us saying, hey, we saw this really cool concept fusing parkour and physical theatre in Scotland. So that's a British Council Jamaica representative now, having worked with us on one successful initiative. Say, yo, we see this concept and we think it can translate. Look at this video and tell us what you think. And it was fusing parkour and physical theater to engage at-risk young men. So in Scotland, it was young men who had been in some kind of conflict with the law. In Jamaica, we never get so specific with the population. But they introduced the concept, inquired whether or not we thought it could work and translate. It was a no-brainer. It's like athleticism and spectacular, like boom flicking, and it's sexy bad. But
no, Laava, I'm going to cut you, because even though especially Parade Garden is known for them tricks down on the wharf and, you know, flipping and jumping and running and such, but forget the youth them to act out their frustrations while running through obstacles and understanding the dynamics of teamwork and all of these things. You took that and went overseas with it and then won contests with it. These youths from Parade Gardens drop on plane and head out.
No, for them never pass Crossroads or half a tree, but we reach Scotland.
You see it. I mean, my girl, big up, man. I you know, say me I follow you from a long time, right? But boy, when I saw the Run Free project happening and how it turned out, and boy, I stood there in awe, because you changed those young people's lives.
Tribe again, like that team was a team, like world class. To be completely honest, I don't think I ever tell any of them this, but that team is the standard by which I now measure most of my personal and professional collaborations. That team is just A1.
Yeah, man. You know, I look forward to that team coming together and doing something else, because remember me tell you, say, it just made my heart smile to see these youths. Because I was working in Parade Gardens with Nikki Carrara, big up Nikki. And you know, Parade Gardens, I mean, I said, yo, them youth, them need help, you know? And then Nikki said, you know, you should check out such and such and such. And I was like, well, what is that? I'm going on to the basketball courts and blah, 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 blah. Go down there and I'm seeing these youths and they're telling me about what they're doing. What? What? What's that? You know? So I pull out my phone and I look on Wikipedia and I say, which Jamaican youth did this? But when I saw the result,
Yep.
Me chat too much. Big up yourself. Big up
yourself. Respect. Trust me, that experience was transformative for me. Like, everybody involved was not the same person they were relative to when they started, you know?
Yeah.
We really learned a lot and grew together. And that's the blessing of being able to have partners that commit to the long run, because that was a 4-year project. And the outcomes you see are a direct result of the fact that we had time, we had the right people, and we had the right kind of financial and resource backative. That kind of transformation, it just don't happen just so. You know, it don't happen on so volunteer strength. Like, that take commitment, it take resources, and it take hearts that know what they're going for. So, and to add to your point, like when you were researching parkour and you're like, who in Jamaica I did this? I was shocked, and I started doing my initial research to organize the design and implementation plan, to see that, it was a sport that people were practicing. Like, I found practicing parkour practitioners. Big up Joker, Kamari Lewis Smith, big up Jordan, big up Jerome. Like, these youths were watching their YouTube videos and practicing on their own, so, and putting themselves out there on the internet, such that me from my desk could have find them to say, we want Jamaican coaches, so no come.
Wow.
And in addition to the young men who, you know, went through the program and devised their theater production based on their own life stories and got their, you know, basic parkour skills locked, two coaches, Kamari and Jordan, were able to get internationally certified, one at level 1 and one at level 2 as coaches. They're still practicing now. And the layers of transformation, it just never ending. Stories for days.
I wanted to ask you about, and you started to list it out already, but I wanted to talk about the word serendipity, because a lot of people don't understand the benefits and the blessings that comes from service, right? Yet nothing, I mean, the greatest gifts that come from blessings are not things you plan for.
Mm-mm.
And I want to talk to you about what are some of the things that you have seen manifest from you just deciding that this is the life that I want to live. What are some things that have come out? And I don't mean the projects that you've planned, but what are the things that that have come up and you've been able to tangible experience?
Tangible experiences. There's so plenty. We don't really know where to start. And this is where I have to testify to the power of grace. Like, I know me talk like a big church girl. I'm far from religious, but I'm highly spiritual, because my lived experiences have demonstrated that you don't have to see the road. Just keep moving forward. It rarely makes sense looking ahead. It only makes sense in retrospect.
Yeah.
And connecting the dots is largely up to us. You know, seeing how the experiences were led to relate and support each other. So other than the experiences I've been, and both the learning and the professional experience I've gained through multiple manifesto projects over the years, I think my willingness to not know and to trust life has kind of led me to, if it's not a conference where I meet a set of people that completely open up a new world, willingness to take on an industry that I don't know anything about, but I know my skill sets translate. So you're stepping willing to learn, willing to learn and trusting that you can catch up, pick up and fit in. For me, the opportunity to travel and experience other people, their way of life and how they perceive Jamaicans, Caribbean people has been invaluable in helping me understand and define my own reality and relate, you know, be able to actually build relationships with people that keep the network growing and the opportunities expanding and flourishing, you know, sincere curiosity and a willingness to accept that you don't know everything and you could be wrong about this.
Right.
But you state your position and say, yo, how it look from your side, you know, especially with the things that's uncomfortable. Because to kind of stick with the Run Free example, that was a partnership between a Jamaican organization and a UK organization. And we know the history between Jamaica and Great Britain. It's not cute. It's unsavory, if we're going to be really frank. But me, Simon, Chris, the British Council representatives who were a part of it, big up David Codling every time, we were very clear that our intention was to basically write a different chapter, represent a different face of what trade and cooperation could look like, you know, with art and culture and curiosity as the basis, mutual respect. And it's something we spoke about very openly. And when I started working on that project, I was young. So I was really shocked to see the level of transparency and frankness with which these people were willing to approach the task, and how much trust they were prepared to invest in me to say, you know how this needs to be done. So let's go. What you need to get it done?
There are a couple of times when you buck it too, right? Give me one of those times and then how you recovered.
Which one I want to draw for now? I think the one I want to draw for, staying in the Manifesto Jamaica vein, because I could have gone all over the place. But I think the biggest buck toe in the context of my experience leading this organization was realizing that 3 years in, after having done the manifestos to a high standard SDC partnership, funding from CEDA, pulling off like a solid series of like 12 events in 1 year, creating a platform for a lot of the artists who are popular international touring artists now. Them find them sea legs on stages created by Manifesto Jamaica. And by year 3, having had all of that success, that team of 15 fell apart. At the time, it did bother me because me, I want to hold on, is me? Like, what's really the problem? Like, we still have work to do. Me still see a clear, wide open road. Like, we just get started. And all of a sudden, we go from 15 to 3. Oh. You go from 15 to 3 overnight. It changes your capacity, like what you can do. So, and it also make you question yourself as a leader. I've been the managing director since inception. As I said before, me, I want to hold on. And me, like, what happened? Because we're not done. And as far as me, say, we still have time. So what the issue?
Did you ever find out what the issue was?
I mean, many different layers. For the people who were transparent with me about their choice to go another way and no longer contribute time and energy to Manifesto Jamaica, the reasons range from personal reasons, like things changed, people got jobs, their careers took off, they started having children. So for the majority of us, I think life circumstances change, and it's not easy to do volunteer work for so long.
True.
No, people never have the same tolerance.
No, I want to talk to you about the part there. I was in a discussion earlier with some entrepreneurs overseas, and a few of them were non-profits directors, doing very well, making some serious impact, right? And they made a point that I had been thinking for a while. Non-profits are unfortunately misunderstood, right? And it's usually misunderstood by the people who create them or direct them, because they're a non-profit business.
Yes.
Which means that they're a business.
Yes.
And businesses are supposed to make money in order to keep on doing business.
Yeah.
So let's say now with Manifesto, you had 15 volunteers that were, them are put out. When do you turn those volunteers into employees?
As soon as humanly possible. As soon, and the thing is, you won't be able to turn all of them into employees. Having built multiple business, one being a non-profit, the other two being straight traditional for-profit enterprises. You see, when you're going to this thing, you have to be prepared to go for 10 years before the thing start work. You see, if you don't feel like you can do that, you need to think again. 10 years before the thing start work. Because to be honest, in the context of Manifesto Jamaica, I'm still not yet at a point where I can hire the numbers of staff that I would like to, because you see, whereas project funding, it is accessible, operational funding for the day-to-day, nobody don't want to pay for your admin. Few few people want to pay for the admin. And existing as an NGO in the Caribbean, we're in an ecosystem where philanthropic giving, it's not really prevalent like in some other ecosystems where you can have an NGO like us 11 years and nothing for you have a $300,000 operating budget every year. Mm-hmm. Like you can get a partner to commit to that for a 3-5 year term. Mm-hmm. You know, we live in a different ecosystem where you really have to get creative. You really have to get creative. So when do you turn the volunteers into at least stipended contract workers? As soon as you can. But my experience of the ecosystem is that it has to take time.
I guess this whole concept of bucking into is a major one, because it fragmented you haven't recovered yet. I mean, it fragmented your organization, and so it fragmented the work that you could do, and so it is fragmenting the amount of impact you're having in people's lives. Exactly.
Exactly. It's funny because I was talking to one of my soldiers in arms yesterday, Shane, and you know, I check in. Shane is a general who everything we've done in Parade Gardens, he was our inroad and our legitimizer. You know, the person who was doing a lot of the initial groundwork and saying to people, yeah, you can trust them people. Yeah, we suss them out and them legit. You know, so Shane and Sabuki and Lion and the Lifeyard family we couldn't achieve what we achieved with Run Free in Parade Gardens without them. And I was talking to him yesterday. To this day, we're working together from day one, and to this day we were still checking. I would see a picture and I say, yo, Shane, what on with the youth or the little empress here? What the update? And every time I get the update, say, oh, you know, said that one day I shot a now, top wanted man or this and that. And I have a completely different memory of this young man. I mean, I said, Jano Star, if we could have just did it every day for 6 months, you know, said that youth wouldn't be a shutter. True that. If that, you know, say, I'm going to see Miss Laava every week and she's going to say, yo, where you do? Where you there? Which waste man that you're carried? Me not liking vibes. You see that little accountability, they just knowing that somebody will look upon you, follow you up. Them remember your name, them know your circumstances, them know your little careless ways and can expose it lovingly, but straight up and be like, that no make it. Prisoner jail, you know, them things that make a difference. And the youth we've come in contact with who slip through the cracks like that is, I believe a big part of it is because we couldn't be present with the consistency and engage with them with the kind of depth that was required to present them another alternative.
Wow. That must be heavy. That must be heavy. Well, I definitely, I look forward to Manifesto Jamaica once, like you say, once the earth balance out ourselves, and once we see that we can travel without having all kinds of different passports.
Well, I don't know. We don't know. I think we have to read. Yeah, we don't know about that.
We're not gonna start talking about that.
Yeah, time will tell. But
I want to see you guys jump up and do anything again, because it's like I said, the impact you all have been making is absolutely wonderful and fantastic. How you are impacting the youth's lives. I've seen some changes in Parade Gardens since the slowdown of the input.
Yes.
And the war them start back, and a lot of the youths them, and enough to say it's too many of the youths them that you used to deal with have died.
True.
You know,
too many.
Most of them violently. So Manifesto need to return. Not to return, because on a day.
Again. We just there wait. Like that's probably been one of the biggest challenges for me. Like still full of energy after 11 years and drive, and just kind of humbling myself to wait for the universe to kind of set it back away where the reach can be. much more extensive and much more consistent. And where they do the work, big up Kidu, big up Natalia, big up the countless artists who, whenever we call them still say yes. And if me say me have 0, if me say me have 500, if me say me have 1,000, yes. You know, them too plenty to name, but I can't speak highly enough of the young people I've encountered who are willing to show up.
I think it's important though to, and I know you can't name everybody, but I think it's important, especially from the artist point of view, to express which of them you're talking about. That regardless of whatever, them come, them put in them little much, them put in the youths them. I think it's important because a lot of people think that artists are bubblegum, you know. That's it. Them sing them song and them don't really care about community. So tell me some of the artists that are putting into
I always afraid for do this, I'm afraid for forget.
Don't worry about that, man. We're just going, tell me 4 of them.
May I ask forgiveness and but I'm gonna start with the visual artists. Man like Denny Five, Enoch Mattison, Michael Kushni, Sabria Simon in the early years, Marshall Witter, who help us document the experiences. Cause if you can't show and tell, you can chat all you want. I mean, powerful images make all the difference in the world. Kush been on the squad from day one. Donisha Prendergast. So we really have to acknowledge them contribution in that respect. When it comes to people who answer when we call, Leela Ike showed up to be part of the music mentorship project we did recently. Naomi Cohen, Jeremy Ashburn, Mikey Bennett, you know, big support for the music mentorship program. Naron Creary, who teaches at the Trenchtown Polytechnic College. The Bob and Rita Marley Foundation, them are supported with meeting space and bucketed from early out. I mentioned I was working there, you know, in the initial days. 5 Steez, writer, rapper, top. Anytime we say Steez Dede. Rashida Grant, Rika G, Cecilia DeSantis, Natalie Reid, Anika Kidu. When it comes to groundwork now, Shane Morgan, Sabuki, Lion, like general when it comes to being on the ground in the streets. Organizations like the Social Development Commission in Jamaica, countless CDCs in Augustown, Standpipe. It's a legion of people. Names you will recognize, names you won't necessarily recognize, but holy for people.
Yeah, man, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Because, and the reason I wanted to do it is to talk about, just to highlight, not to talk about, but to highlight that the community is still active in Jamaica. Right? We Jamaicans have a community that is very active, and even in the diaspora, because they want to be attached to working entities and companies that are get them hands dirty and I put in the elbow grease and I put them shoulder to the wheel.
Definitely.
So that they can feel a part of the growth. So with that, I want to say thank you so much for sitting with us.
Invitation.
Yeah, man. You know, it is always great to sit down. I think one of these days we're going to have to do this under that mango tree at Bob Marley Museum.
Definitely, with some of the OG track. That would be so nice.
Yeah, man. We have to do it because there's so much that happens at that mango tree from the 70s till now. You know? And a lot of birth happens there, and it would be good to pay homage to just that space, the spirit of that space, you know. So because you're connected, make it happen.
I think the people responsible would be open. So one certain things level, we can see how that go on. But I definitely feel like the gatekeepers will be open to that. So
See.
We see what can go on.
All right.
Thank you so much for the information. I appreciate you sincerely. Salute the work through Good News Jamaica, and we're forever here to propel and support in any way and shape we can.
Give thanks. Give thanks. Take care of yourself. Love and blessings. And remember my hugs.
Yes, I have them locked and stocked. I'm ready.
Thank you for checking us out on Good News Jamaica TV for content that informs, inspires, and transforms. Please like, share, leave a comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more positive Jamaica content. Walk good.